Breaking news. Your dude Jay Roos talked to Skrilla50. Shout out to Skrilla50. He's a subscriber to the Jay Roos Theory. Hopefully he's subscribed to NWJ channel number 2. He's a moderator over on Counterpunch Boxing News. But he used to be a cop, what do you say, for 16 years in Baltimore? Well, he dropped some insight on what really went down with the Terence Crawford and Omaha police. He said there's no way that cop did not know who Terence Crawford is. He said when an event's going on, there are emails that are passed through the department, emails, bulletins posted, and it's a big deal, especially in a small town like Terence Crawford was in, that there'd be a parade. So they knew exactly who Terence Crawford was. They knew exactly who he was. And he also said that when he told Terence Crawford not to reach for his weapon, he was trying to paint a narrative because Terence Crawford asked him about his radar. I guess, the guy claiming that he was driving recklessly, I guess Crawford was like, well, show me your radar gun and let me see, So he's saying there's no way that this cop did not know who Terence Crawford was. So for people like Manager Malarkey, Manager Marty, I call him Amateur Malarkey because the dude I've never seen somebody seem to hate somebody so much in my life and try to come off as honest. And, he's like, I never tell a lie. I just keep it real. He's just a weird dude, man. He's wearing a t-shirt talking about his nipples are showing, but only for the ladies. Like, man, don't nobody want to hear that or see it. Your nipples are showing for the ladies. And he's talking about, Manager Marty's talking about, you shouldn't tell a story unless you have all the details and stuff like that. Well, I tried to sit through his live stream, but it was pretty much a bore fest. And, I doubt highly if he talked about the bodyguard actually, or security saying that, the cop didn't even see the gun. They came up with that later. So, if you want to tell a story, tell it all. Manager Marty, this dude must have lost some serious money on that Spence Crawford fight because he started saying Nonito Donair's wife lied on him and said she paid for a room for the Terence Crawford Spence fight and all kind of stuff. This dude is putting hit piece after hit piece out on Terence Crawford. He's just got like a playlist like Terence Crawford racism, Terence Crawford cheater, Terence Crawford. It's like, dude, what kind of sick channel is this? Like, it's like this dude goes to bed and dreams of how can I get Terence Crawford today? I couldn't pay my rent for that month because I lost so much on Spence, so I'm gonna keep putting out hit pieces. What is it, 2 years after the event, this dude is steady going at it. And he's got way more subscribers than me, like 10,000. So, he said, I'll respond to the channels that are worthy of responding to. And then later he act like, I like all content creators because you're putting your stuff out there. Yo, I hope he responds to me, man. I'll go on his channel. He can come on mine. It'll be respectful. But come on, man. Like I said in my other video, like Ed Lover used to say, come on, son. Like, dude, what are you talking about? He's talking about these officers weren't racist and they should have pulled their out because it was reckless driving. He's even making fun of the bodyguard for saying he feared for his life. He's like, if you I'm paying for you to protect me and you fear for your life, I'm gonna fire you. People are human, man. You could be a bodyguard and still feel fear. You think fighters don't feel fear? Mike Tyson even talked about feeling afraid. I bet you didn't know that, did you, Manager Malarkey? But, he's just talking about they should have pulled their gun. So I did some research like Manager Marty says he does. I don't know where he does his research, but I did some research and I said on Google, are cops supposed to pull their guns on a car when it's accused of doing reckless driving? It said, no, you're not supposed to pull your gun out if somebody's doing reckless driving. It said though, if they see a weapon, then hey, so I guess that was their out because they couldn't really have a justification for what they did. So then they had to act like, well, they found out there was a gun later, I guess. So then they had to act like, where's the gun while we acted a monkey? That's why we did it, because we saw the gun. Really? I don't think I've ever seen a fighter hated more than Terence Crawford since the days of my dude Lennox Lewis. And there was no internet real big back then. And if there had been, you probably have channels like Manager Malarkey going at Lennox Lewis back then. Oh, he's on steroids. Like, think about it too. If Terence Crawford is this hated, don't you think somebody would have busted him by now? With all the people that hate Terence Crawford? I don't know how this dude has 10,000 subscribers, and if he tries to diss me by saying I only have 1,700 some, that don't mean nothing, homie. That's like saying the Spice Girls sold more records than Tupac, so they're more respected in the streets than Tupac. Nah, you could have 50 million subscribers. I still get more respect than you. And if you got 50 million, you probably paid for them. People must just watch this dude for entertainment, though, but he's not very funny. He thinks he's a lot smarter than what he is. You can tell he's constantly bragging on himself and coming up with these false narratives and then claiming he's all about the truth. How are you all about the truth and you just keep putting out negative stories on Terence Crawford? Everybody in the boxing community that I see respects Terence Crawford. Fighters, managers, trainers. You're the only one that is going on and on about some nonsense. Cheating. And for you to act like you're being honest is ridiculous, because just the fact that you take the police's side in this incident shows that you just are out to get this guy. And I knew he was going to do it. I knew he was going to take this opportunity to go at Terence Crawford. Everybody in the car was stupid, and the bodyguards and security didn't know what they was doing, and they shouldn't have had their guns on them. And by the way, they were registered too, so it was okay to have their guns, this is a country where you can have guns. I know there's certain places you can't go, but hey, man, those cops knew who he was. I heard it from an insider that was a cop for 16 years in Baltimore, knows what he's talking about. He said the police definitely knew who Terence Crawford was. They knew about the parade. They knew the mayor. Everybody knew in Omaha. It's a big deal. It's a big deal worldwide. So you think if it's big worldwide, they didn't know in Terence Crawford's home city who Terence Crawford was? Are you serious? Are you serious? They didn't know who he was in Omaha, Nebraska, his hometown? But this manager Marty dude, man, this dude is he's something else. I don't know how you build a whole platform off of dissing a fighter. What have you accomplished in your life? And he claims he's from the streets. What streets are you from, homie? What streets are you from? Hollywood Hills, man? Like, what street? Nah, I could tell you ain't from the West Coast. You wouldn't last out there. What streets are you from, man? Same streets as Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz? Like, what are you talking about? How can you make video after video talking about Terence Crawford? You talk about Canelo with the meat? No. Who else? Did you talk about Deontay Wilder's brother, people that actually tested dirty? Did you talk about Jarrell Miller? Why are you so obsessed with Terence Crawford, man? That's a bit feminine if you ask me. It's okay to like a fighter and, have your favorite fighters. We all do. But to just constantly try to diss one fighter because apparently you lost some heavy money, that's ridiculous, man. Just like that dude I keep talking about, the boxing outlet, I call it the boxing toilet, kept changing his name because I guess YouTube was having problems with his slander. That dude was always talking about Terence Crawford. It's some real haters out there. And if Terence came up to him on the street, it would all be giggles and Hallmark cards, I guarantee you. And it would be that way with me, too, if they saw me in person. Smiles and Hallmark cards. And no, if I see you, Manager Marty, in person, I don't want to see your nipples and your tight shirts. I'm not trying to see all that. I don't roll like that. And your hat was rather goofy, too, by the way. But it's not about appearance. I'm just bringing up appearance because you brought up your own appearance and you're talking about the ladies and all that, man. What ladies you got, man? What ladies you got? But stop hating on Terence Crawford, man. Stop it. Stop it. The police knew who he was. Stop acting like there was no racism involved. There was racism involved. And even if they're not aware of it, these cops have a preconditioned mind to be scared of black men in a lot of cases. So that's another form of racism. But you wouldn't know that, would you, Manager Marty? Because you didn't grow up in the same streets that I grew up in. And that's obvious. For you to just talk about, oh, this cop's not racist, and nah, man. Nah. Come on, son. What are you talking about? Better yet, what are you smoking? Manager malarkey. Amateur malarkey. Dude. Why are you guys subscribing to this dude? There's no way this dude should have more subscribers than me. I get nearly all my picks right. You guys want to be entertained by a dude coming up with stuff that ain't even true. Just hit pieces. He's like internet tabloid. Who wants to watch that? He should call his channel Manager Inquirer. You remember the Inquirer magazine? Except most of their stuff, I think, ended up true. Except stuff like a five-headed dog was seen in Beverly Hills, stuff like that. But for the most part, it was true. But this dude's stuff is not true. It's just hit pieces, and he's still mad at Terence Crawford, and he probably has Terrence's pictures up in his room and throws darts at him and, Nerf balls. It's like, man, I lost my $5. How am I going to eat tonight? That kind of thing. This dude's channel is goofy, man. When I first saw him, I thought, he's kind of knowledgeable. Then I was like, oh, he's one of them. He was even going at Victor Conti talking about that Victor called him a name or something. It's like, because when people present you with facts and you're still coming up with this narrative, they're like, come on, man. Come on. And you look like kind of funny too, because I'm not with just supporting a black man just because he's black. If I think you're guilty, I'm going to say you're guilty. I'm not going to say, oh, he's not guilty because he's black. But it looks kind of bad to see a black man get harassed by the police and you trying to co-sign the cop in that situation. Like I said, shout out to Skriller50. He's African American. I don't like to say African American, but he's black. And, FBA probably. Foundational Black American. So if he's saying this is some bogus stuff, then who are you, Manager Marty? This dude was inside the police department. I've been on the street. I've known police. I'm cool with some police. And you don't know what you're talking about. And all your subscribers should hit the eject button and, unless you just want to hear some nonsense. Anyway, it's the J. Roos Theory Cash App, $J Roos33. Channel number 2 in WJ, Instagram, the J. Roos Theory, LSR forever. Oh yeah, something else Skriller told me about, we're saying that cops should be fired. He said it's a long process to get cops fired, but something needs to happen because the world is watching, the black community's watching, and it's not a good look for Omaha if nothing happens to these officers involved with these bullying tactics. Like I said, if you're scared of black people, UPS is hiring. The J. Roos Theory, LSR forever, be fearless. You gay.